Ranch income feels a lot like rainfall sometimes. When you get it, it's great, but you can't count on it showing up exactly when you need it. So a lot of producers are looking for ways to diversify, bring in extra money, stabilize the business, and maybe even create a revenue stream that keeps the ranch afloat in tough years. But here's the problem. Most diversification actually ends up being a distraction, and distraction costs more than it makes 10 times over. So today, we are not talking about add more things. We are talking about how to add income without blowing up your time, your labor, or the core of your operation. You know how ranchers are. Someone hears that their neighbor down the road made some money doing a pumpkin patch or selling freezer beef or leasing land out for weddings, and suddenly that sounds like a perfect next move for your operation. Except you're still trying to run cows. You are still a ranch. And you are already working 60 to 70 hours a week. This is where most diversification goes wrong. You didn't add income. You added pure chaos to your life and everyone around you. If a new venture steals focus from the cow herd, it is not diversification, it is a liability. Here's the simple rule. If a new income stream doesn't strengthen your core cattle business, or at least stay completely out of its way, it is not the right move. Good diversification should fit your land, fit your labor, fit your skills, fit your calendar, and actually yield profit without eating up mental bandwidth. If it drains your time, pulls you off cattle, or forces you to hire more labor, it might not pencil out. So let's talk about the diversification strategies that tend to work because they actually integrate naturally with the cattle operation that you're actually running. Taking into consideration that every single operation is different, and something that works for a rancher here in Kansas might not work for a rancher in Florida. So take that into consideration when we are talking about all of these, that they are not going to work for every single operation. Number one, you've got hunting leases and recreational access. The pros here, it's passive, very low labor, and extremely seasonal. Cons, you got a lot of liability, gate management, and a lot of expectations to set. And then you've also got to take into consideration, are they going to be hunting on pastures that you have cattle on? If so, probably not going to work for you in your operation. Now, this is really ideal if your ranch has wildlife, cover, or terrain that hunters value. Option two, you've got custom grazing. The pros of this, uses grass that you already have, and there's low overhead. The cons, cash flow depends on grass management and water availability for that year. It fits ranches with strong forage and good fixing, and producers who are good with logistics. But have a year of drought? It might not be the best thing for you this year. Option number three, and this is a hot one right now, direct-to-consumer beef. The pros, you've got really high margin potential, and you've got brand building. Cons, you have to market, you've got storage, food safety, time, and I could keep on going. This works best if you're already active online or near a population center. It is not a savior for everyone, but an extremely powerful tool for the right personality. Option number four, you've got backgrounding or retained ownership. Pros of this, you've got increased value of calves, and it spreads overhead over time. The cons, nutrition and risk management required. This one works well for ranchers who already have feed, pens, or strong stockmanship ability to keep these cattle for longer. And finally, number five, you've got pasture leasing, grazing agreements, or hay leases. The pros of this, low labor and stable income. Cons, you are completely dependent on rainfall for that year. If cows aren't the best use of your acres in a given year, leasing ground can actually increase net income. Now, this is probably not something you are going to be doing year over year unless your operation can handle it, but definitely a great option for people that can. Now, let's talk about the big energy sinks. Number one, this is probably a hot take, but tourism and events is awesome in theory, very expensive in practice. You are suddenly, overnight, agreeing to be in the hospitality business. And frankly, that's not ranching and not what most of us are used to. Most ranchers underestimate the time, marketing, and the liability involved. Number 2, you've got overexpanding into farming. Unless you already have equipment and expertise, farming to add income usually becomes a money pit. Number 3, you've got any venture that requires heavy labor when cattle need you the most. This is kind of my umbrella one. If your side revenue peaks during calving, shipping, branding, haying, it is going to cause tension or failure. Timing matters way more than profit potential. At the end of the day, we are ranchers. And you can't diversify if you don't know where your time is going. Most ranchers are time poor and don't realize it. I encourage everyone to take 1 week and write down every single thing that you are doing at every single point in the day. Your eyes will get opened up. I've done this in my personal business multiple times to see where my day is actually spent. Because I plan out my days, I've got my meetings, I've got my time blocks. But then at the end of the day, I sit down and I reflect of, okay, what did I actually do from 10 to 11, 11 to noon, noon to 1, 1 to 1:30? What were all of those hours spent doing? How many hours did you spend feeding? Checking waters, moving cattle, fixing fence, hauling hay, running errands, doing paperwork. If you barely have room for a full night's sleep, and yes, I'm talking 8 hours, you do not have room for a new business that requires daily attention. Diversification only works when it fits into your leftover time, not your prime time. And this is a diversification discussion for a single rancher. Maybe you and your spouse have an operation, and this is something you're adding to your plate. Not a diversification discussion of, hey, my son is coming home from college and they want to start this side venture. Like, that is a completely different discussion because that is someone else's time that is going to be focused on this. So take that into consideration as well. Before you add anything, you need to be running the math. What is the upfront cost? What's the annual cost? How many hours per week am I going to spend on this? What is the realistic revenue? Is this revenue seasonal or stable? And what does this venture take away from the cattle operation? If the numbers don't work on paper, they definitely won't work in real life. The best diversification is honestly almost boring. It's when you take something you already do naturally and you monetize the next layer of it. If you're already telling your ranch story online, maybe selling beef direct is your next move. If you already harvest hay efficiently and have some left over, maybe hay sales is your next thing. Lean in to the strengths you already have established, not trends, and that might be a little boring sometimes. So here's the truth about diversification. It is not about adding more things. It is about adding the right things. The ones that fit your land, your labor, your calendar, and your strengths without pulling you away from your core business. If a venture adds income without adding an insane amount of chaos, that's true diversification and sustainable diversification. If it adds that insane amount of chaos without adding any profit, that's a distraction. Know the difference and build your ranch around the opportunities that fit your reality, not someone else's highlight reel. This is the Cattle USA Daily Podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Moylan. Thanks for listening to another episode. I appreciate you all being here, and we will see you next time. Have a good one, y'all.